Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Peter Murphy begins now.
Good evening, everyone. There's been a heavy blow for two major developments crucial for the future of Tasmania, landing the government in hot water for its handling of projects. After weeks of questioning, the Health Minister has admitted the Royal Hobart Hospital redevelopment will be delayed because of ongoing faults with the construction. There's also set to be at least a 1-year delay on replacements for the Spirit of Tasmania vessels as the state rips up a contract with a struggling shipbuilder. Tonight we have full reports on both of these developments. First to the trouble in our state's biggest hospital.
The helipad's been tested, the scaffolding has come down, but inside what's set to be Tasmania's newest hospital wing, construction has hit trouble.
The final stages of practical completion of KBOC have been delayed, and we are working through a management plan to ensure that when we have patients and staff in that hospital, it is fit for purpose.
The redevelopment was delayed to mid last year, then tentatively pushed back again to the end of this month. This latest delay leaving some disappointed.
Certainly was being looked forward to address some of the concerns in relation to lack of capacity and certainly reducing wait times for patients. So certainly a disappointment to learn that won't be happening by the end of February as anticipated.
We've got staff under extraordinary pressure at the hospital, patients who are waiting unacceptably long amount of times for the care that they need, and a government who has failed to deliver on the biggest infrastructure project this state has seen.
The water supply to K-Block contributing to the setback amid recent reports of heavy metal contamination.
What we've identified is the lead levels appear to have reduced down to less than 5% of the samples taken, and we're still also examining some elevated levels of nickel.
We have done over 600 tests of the water quality over the past few weeks, and we're very hopeful with the results, but we do have a management plan in place.
Noisy air conditioning also causing some headaches.
So we have been aware for some time that there were noise issues, and our builder has been working quite effectively to try and reduce those issues. We believe that they fixed a number of them. However, we're seeking further information from them at this time.
For now, an estimated date for completion remains uncertain.
We expect it will be open in the next few weeks, but we don't know that because until the issues that need to be addressed are addressed, no one knows when it can be opened.
I don't have advice on an estimated date. However, the fact that we are assessing these things on a daily basis gives me hope that this will be soon. I want to see patients in there. I want to see staff in there.
Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmania News.
And turning now to the other project that's hit trouble, the state government has cancelled a contract with a German shipyard to build the replacement Spirit of Tasmania vessels. TT Line is now negotiating with a new shipyard in Finland to take over the job, but that company is relatively young and hasn't constructed a new ferry this big before.
There are iconic red and white ships providing a vital link across Bass Strait, but the Spirit of Tasmania ferries are more than 2 decades old. To modernise and deal with ever-increasing passenger numbers, TT Line was embarking on a deal to build a new generation at a German shipyard.
Up until very recently, the yard has advised us that they were on budget and on time to complete the vessels as per the contract.
For more than a year, rumours of financial troubles have been swirling around the German shipbuilder, casting doubt on our construction. Today, TT Line and the government finally announcing they're tearing up the $700 million contract.
No payments have been made to FSG, nor will they be. And furthermore, the majority of that work, which has been ongoing in terms of the detailed design process, does transfer to the new shipbuilders.
TT Line is now turning to Finnish shipbuilder Roma Marine Constructions. The task now to negotiate a new contract, the final designs and revised delivery dates.
We do have an MOU where we've effectively booked the slots for Hull 1 to be delivered in 2022. Naturally, of course, there'll be detailed contract negotiations that now commence.
But the new shipyard has a limited history. This is the only car ferry it's built from scratch. It was completed 2 years ago, but it's a lot smaller than even our current Spirits.
So the shipyard that we have recently signed the MOU was shortlisted in our initial process in any case. So we're very confident, as we were with FSG.
The government are saying they've got an MOU in place with a new shipyard. We need to see the details of that, and we need to understand when they'll strike a contract and make sure that Tasmanian taxpayers aren't exposed in the process.
TT Line says our current ships can safely and efficiently operate well past 2021. Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
To other news now, and 2 Tasmanian brothers who survived a devastating car crash that killed 3 people remain in a stable condition at the Royal Hobart Hospital. Their father was killed yesterday when the vehicle he was driving crossed onto the wrong side of the Bass Highway, colliding with an oncoming ute. Both infants, one aged 10 months and the other 4 years, were found alive by witnesses. Investigations into the crash continue. 2 men who entered a stranger's home armed and shot him in the eye have been sentenced to extended periods behind bars. Jake Hattenschweiler and George Jeffrey pleading guilty to their role in the shooting, which left a migrant man with lifelong injuries.
Police hunting for clues after an act as dark as the night itself. Jake Hattenschweiler and George Jeffrey stormed into this Herbert Street unit in 2018 and pointed guns at a man they'd never met and shot him in the eye. A traumatising and terrifying act for anyone. The blood of South Sudanese victim Wal Yel staining the adjacent footpath, but the weapons weren't loaded with cartridges but salt. Justice Robert Pearce telling the court, had the shotgun been loaded with conventional cartridge, Mr Yel could have been seriously injured or killed. The pair previously pleaded guilty to the raft of charges against them. Hattenschweiler, who pulled the trigger, was facing the more serious offence of causing grievous bodily harm. The court heard the victim lost his eye as a result of the gunshot wound, which has lowered his self-esteem and reduced his employment opportunities. Neither has demonstrated remorse for their actions. George Jeffrey was sentenced to a total of 18 months in prison, while his co-accused Jake Hattenschweiler will spend the next 3 years and 9 months behind bars. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania is one step closer to being 100% reliant on renewable energy, with a major wind farm now officially on the grid. The first turbine at the Granville Harbour site has been switched on, with the project set to bring clean power to tens of thousands of local homes.
This is a site years in the making. The first turbine at the Granville Harbour wind farm spinning and generating electricity, putting power back into the grid for the first time, a landmark day for all involved.
There'll be people who talk about this project wishing they were there, and there's a very small but very capable and dedicated group of people who were the ones who were there, and they will be able to hold that for the rest of their lives.
The $280 million project includes 31 turbines built on a cattle farm on the remote west coast. These structures are 200 metres tall, with the blades alone spanning 67 metres. This specialty crane brought in just to lift the pieces into place. But the complex project is not just about the turbines.
We've got about 25 kilometres of roads that we've had to build on site. We've had to build our own quarry to extract the rock from site. We've got our own batch plants to make our own concrete. There's about 21 kilometres of cables under the ground.
The wind farm here is expected to be completed by the middle of the year, and once all these turbines are up and running, they'll create enough energy to power around 46,000 homes.
Tasmania is the renewable energy battery of the nation. We're already 2% in terms of energy production, but 25% in terms of renewable energy production across Australia.
But all that extra energy production needs to get to the mainland. The government's still working on getting a second underwater interconnector up and running to reduce energy bottlenecks.
The plans for that are progressing very well. The design and approval progress is on track. We're very appreciative of the $56 million support from the Australian government.
But for now, here at Granville Harbour, workers are celebrating officially becoming Tasmania's 5th wind farm. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
Hobblers Bridge at Newstead was closed this afternoon following a 3-vehicle crash. One of the cars flipped on its side during the incident, with emergency services towing the vehicles away. Part of the guardrail was damaged and detached from the bridge. Fortunately, no serious injuries were reported. The state government has expanded its school nursing program, with colleges across the state to receive a nurse for 2.5 days a week this year and a full-time position next year.
Over the course of the next 4 years, there's just over $17 million investment into the school nurse program that extends it right through from primary school, high school, through to our senior secondary school and college environment.
Labor welcomes the commitment but says the government can do better. A Blackmans Bay boy is being hailed a tiny hero after rushing to his mum's aid as she went into a seizure. 9-year-old Caelan Foxton kept a cool head as he picked up the phone to raise the alarm, and today his efforts earned him a special thanks from those in uniform.
A month ago, Fiona and son Caelan were preparing for bed when everything went wrong.
And all of a sudden, Mum just did this weird big yawny thing, and then it sounded like she was gonna vomit.
She was suffering an epileptic seizure. The 9-year-old quickly dialed his grandmother before speaking with 000.
Hello, my mother is acting a bit strange.
Okay, what's her address?
Yeah, I really need an ambulance. A couple of times just yelling mummy, but yeah, she just stayed asleep and it was pretty scary.
He kept calm and waited for paramedics Cameron and Rob to arrive.
I just saw an ambulance.
Yeah, so you go and you stay on the phone with me, but I'll go and open the door for them as well, okay?
Okay.
He was fantastic. When we first arrived, we walked in and he was on the phone, opened the door and was really calm. It was like, oh, there's obviously another adult in the house.
Fiona soon recovered. Today, Caelan's efforts were rewarded with a special tour, learning how to save lives and where the big buttons are. The lesson for parents: teach your kids about 000.
Just hoped that he would do the plan, but he kind of went way above it and did an incredible job, so I'm very proud.
He knew the address straight away. He was able to tell me what was going on, and he answered all the questions.
Do you feel like a bit of a hero?
Yeah, I feel like a hero.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
The final day of the Sheffield Shield clash at Blunston Arena has gone down to the wire, with Tasmania recording an astonishing come-from-behind victory. Nathan Ellis put his side on the front foot with 5 wickets on debut before Beau Webster harnessed his trademark finisher role to chase down the target.
A thrilling end to an enthralling day's play.
He's over. Payne goes bang and goes big.
Jubilation for the Tigers, chalking up only their 2nd win of the season in a staggering last innings triumph.
That's a great win. That's a great Tasmanian win at home.
Earlier with the ball, it was the Nathan Ellis show.
There's the appeal, and he's given out.
The 25-year-old showed no signs of a player on debut, his milestone 5th scalp coming in destructive fashion.
And he's bowled, gone. Beautiful delivery.
All things pointed to an early end to the innings, but Western Australia's Joel Paris proved a thorn in the side, plundering valuable runs to thwart the Tigers' hopes of a small final chase. His reign ending on 93, 2-3-4, the golden target for the home side. The pursuit struggled to get off the ground, unlike Josh Philippi behind the stumps.
There's a catch and he's gone. Caught down the leg side. Jordan Silk departs for a duck.
Things going from bad to worse as Charlie Wakeham also departed. The coach looked on as the odds of a victory looked slim, but Jake Doran found an ally in Ben McDermott for a 75-run partnership, making the near impossible seem ever closer. Needing 8 and over at the death, Beau Webster was at the centre, blasting a quick-fire 29.
Going back further, 6 runs!
To steal victory from the most unlikely of circumstances. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
And this year's Supercars action at Symmons Plains will be a bittersweet contest following the scrapping of the Holden brand. The Australian icon has snared the lion's share of titles at the famous racetrack in recent years.
In a race fuelled by rivalry, what happens when one side disappears?
I think no matter what, the show always has to go on, and whatever it looks like in the future, we're not sure. I think other manufacturers will come.
Holden has claimed 16 of the last 18 Supercars races at Symmons Plains. 2015 champion Mark Winterbottom is hoping to make it one more.
It's a tough race, and this year the competition's really tight. So yeah, hopefully people come out, support it, and
they're going to get a good show.
Thousands are still expected to line the track next month. This year's race will also see a few changes.
It's 2 longer races, so yeah, it's good. Saturday kind of feels like one day, you reset, go to bed, celebrate, commiserate, whatever it is, turn up Sunday and have the same format.
Today, both drivers traded the track for the classroom in Gagebrook. As for who Ford faces off against after 2021...
I think we still will see a GM-based product versus a Ford and maybe something else mixed in.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Good evening. It was a cloudy day across the state today with showers seen in the west and south. A high of 19 across Launceston, Burnie and Devonport, 21 at Hobart. 22 was the state's top at Friendly Beaches and Campania, Smithton and Lowhead 18 and Ouse reaching 19. On the close-up shows a cloudy day across the state with a mixture of cloud types throughout the day. Further out, mid to low level cloud across southern parts of the mainland, while high level cloud with thunderstorms sits over the southwest WA. Tomorrow shows a southwesterly wind flow over Tasmania, while several shofts sit over the mainland. West to southwest winds tomorrow 20 to 25 knots, swells up to 6 metres in the west and south and below 1 metre in the north. A gale warning is current for southern coastal waters from Wineglass Bay to Low Rocky Point for westerly winds, and a strong wind warning is also current for all remaining coastal waters. Tomorrow's forecast now partly cloudy and 19 across Hobart and Campania, Huonville 17. In the north, Launceston partly cloudy, 20 about Devonport and Georgetown. Burnie tomorrow 18, a shower or 2 at Strawn, Wynyard 19. A partly cloudy 21 across St Helens and Swansea, 17 at Port Arthur. The UV forecast mostly very high 8s across the state. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast, Saturday showers about the west easing in the evening, Sunday showers about the west extending statewide in the afternoon, and Monday fine about the southeast, possible showers elsewhere. Capital cities 23 and partly cloudy in Adelaide tomorrow, Canberra mostly sunny and 28 and 31 in Perth. And currently Hobart mostly cloudy and 16, Launceston 18 and Devonport mostly cloudy and 17. That's all for weather tonight, Murph.
Thanks very much for that, Jackie. See you tomorrow night. Now, that's all the news, sport and weather for right now. We'll have updates on all of that later in the evening. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Well, you were pretty cool in that day in the car.